The INTJ Sigma male is one of the rarest and most coveted amalgams of personality types and character traits in the entire population. Comprising less than 0.5% of all people in the world, they are armed with innate inclinations and capabilities that make them a formidable opponent in any realm of endeavor. This is a different breed of men, and most people would be mistaken to think they belong to this unique personality type, because the small number simply makes it unlikely that you are part of this elite club of men occupying the highest echelon alongside the alphas. So what is it that makes the INTJ Sigma stand out from a sea of ordinary men, and sets him apart even from the confident and rowdy alpha males of the world that seem to dominate every space they occupy? Here are 7 key traits about the Sigma that no other man can possess or replicate. Number 1. He builds his own parallel hierarchy. This is one characteristic that distinguishes all other men from the INTJ Sigma male. He outright refuses to become part of the reigning status wars and decides to tread his own path separate from the ladder that all other men are fighting to climb. This allows him the top spot among men, but to remain outside the influence of the status quo. The INTJ Sigma does this by carving out his own space in the world, be it any field or human endeavor, instead of becoming yet another pawn in the petty games of low-status men. His competence is derived from his sheer focus on his goals and the refusal to engage in the low-IQ, mindless entertainment that keeps most other men busy. The INTJ Sigma male prefers a more reclusive lifestyle and likes to make his actions do the talking instead of himself. This sets him apart from the alpha men, who prefer the spotlight of public attention and derive validation from it. The Sigma, however, has no need for public approval and is comfortable finding solace in the fact that he is one of the top-tier, most capable men in the world, even without all that glitz and glam. Number 2. He thinks strategically, not tactically. INTJ Sigmas are strategic thinkers who can occasionally throw some people off with their far-fetched vision into the future. Every action they take and every activity they indulge in is carefully deliberated against its future consequences, both negative and positive. This helps put them several steps ahead of all other men, because they can see and predict the outcomes of their actions far beyond anyone else can anticipate them. This allows them to also have mastery over another critical masculine skill, which is the ability to delay gratification and push things into the future with a degree of patience and perseverance. Where most other men would fall into temptation or make short-term moves on the grand chessboard of life, they see the world like a crystal ball and make calculated moves to bring about the world that they envision. Number 3. They operate in a moral framework, but take liberty in defining it. Do you know the greatest thing that rubs INTJ Sigmas the wrong way? They can't stand pious virtue signaling or people with holier-than-thou attitudes who aren't able to see beyond the little bubbles they have created for themselves. Sigmas definitely value morality, but that does not mean they cow down to the popular social narratives that prevail and don't allow the changing whims of public moral opinion to guide their beliefs and actions. This is why they sometimes bend and step beyond the strict moral framework that current society has put in place, because they believe it can lead to a greater good, or perhaps they simply don't agree that what is being presented as moral deed is moral at all. Sigmas aren't afraid of breaking the rules, but they take extra care to make sure there's very good reasons to tread beyond the lines in the sand that the society has created. Number 4. Sigmas strive for perfection in their craft. This is both a blessing and a curse for the INTJ Sigma, who are tortured by every work they do when they obsess over its absolute perfection. It always remains a nagging nuisance to them if they think they somehow came up short in their struggle and effort, and it frustrates them well into the future if anything they did failed because they didn't give it their 100%. This can lead to stress, but it also means that anything that an INTJ Sigma male puts his mind to, he does it to the absolute best of his abilities and takes it as close to perfection as humanly possible. Number 5. He is the leader that people naturally defer to. Unlike the alpha, there is a naturally calming aura that surrounds the INTJ Sigma male. His vibe invites people into his circle, and his mind and thoughtfulness keeps them around. People, which includes teen workers, women, or even children, feel a degree of ease and relief when they are around him. This makes them want to defer to his wisdom and capability on everything from the smallest decisions to leading big ideas. Sigma males don't have to actively pursue this because their personality type combined with their gifted mind attracts people into their circle, especially those looking for a strong masculine figure for guidance and inspiration. Number 6. He dares rebel against societal conventions. INTJ Sigma males have an undying quest for treading the border between the known and unknown. They are the courageous ones that stand on that line and push it further, usually discovering new ideas in the process and enlightening people behind them. This is what defines the nature of an INTJ Sigma. They aren't afraid of breaking social conventions or daring to bend rules to see if things can work in a better, more efficient way. Be it age-old traditions or the behaviors infused in culture, they are always looking beyond it, trying to find new ideas that can replace old ones. This is something that can get them in trouble, but for the Sigmas that is well worth it, because that is the first sign that they are even trying to push the limits of what society expects. There is a crucial difference between an Alpha and a Sigma. Alphas don't necessarily break rules, they just ascend to the top by any means they can. Sigmas, on the other hand, want to break out of this whole paradigm and forge new hierarchies and social order they can rule. Number 7. Sigmas are the most reclusive and introspective of all. Do you know what distinguishes Batman from all other superheroes? Batman is the epitome and personification of the ultimate Sigma male. He is the fictional ideal that all Sigmas must aspire to, and he embodies all the traits and characteristics of an INTJ and the personhood of a superhero. He is admired for his integrity, intelligence, ingenuity, and strength, but he is also extremely reclusive and prefers not to reveal his identity. He makes use of complicated technology which he understands in order to break free of societal constraints and figure out ways of his own for how he wants to take down his opponents. INTJs and Sigma males in real life are a more toned-down version of this, with an emphasis on ascending competence hierarchies, but doing so behind the scenes and not being as loud and extroverted in the public sphere. They are also experts at deep introspection and contemplation. They rule the castles of their own minds and refuse to let anyone or anything break this indomitable control over their own mental states. With emotional intelligence and strength to match, INTJ Sigmas are able to take all the stress and complications of their life and take time out to process them alone inside the comfort of their own mind. This leads them to greater self-control and allows them to come to terms with all the trauma in their life before they prepare for the next day of their life. These qualities are the hardest to find in the distracted and bustling global village we have built in the world, and it is all the more difficult to find them in the same person. So if you think you check all these boxes, you might just be the rare breed of men who are meant to live life on their own terms and be the shining light that guides all other men through the dark realities of this cold world. This knowledge and the content you see on this channel are derived from years of study and expertise, so if you like the wisdom we put out here and want to see more, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more enlightening videos. Stay strong and stay humble.